Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. I am your humble host, Willie Bragg. Before we get started, I'm going to sound like a broken record and say that to go ahead and hit that like button and hit that hit subscribe and comment and share this video and any other videos I may have for whatever nefarious purposes you have, and all will be well. So anyway. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving and all of that, and we can go ahead and get ready for the holidays, and then hopefully the year 2023 will be a better year. So let's talk about Twitter again, and I'm going to try to stop talking about Twitter so much, but we'll say this much about Twitter. We know about Donald Trump getting reinstated on Twitter, and it is what it is. I have no problem with Trump getting back on Twitter, and you heard me say this over and over. You do not have to be a fan of Trump. You do not have to simp for the guy. You do not have to support him in any way, shape, or fashion. I don't, but I do support his right to be on Twitter. I support anybody's right to be on Twitter on free speech grounds, on First Amendment grounds. And so that being said, this also applies to people who are on my side of the fence. And it's more important for people who are on my side of the fence to be on Twitter too. And I am still really, really pissed what happened with Garland Nixon the other day, having his account suspended. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you from he was a guest on the Jimmy Dore show here. I'm going to go ahead and play you the interview, and I'll share a few words too while I'm at it. So let's get everything set up, and we will get started. And you know the deal. Okay, give me one more moment, and we'll do this. Okay, and hold on. There we go. We'll get started right now.
Special guest with us. He's a former police officer and criminal justice adjunct professor. He received the National Stand Award from the American Civil Liberties Union for his work on criminal justice reform and police misconduct. He is the host of the progressive radio show News Views with Garland Nixon and the political analyst in Washington, D.C. Please welcome friend of the show, Garland Nixon. Hi, Garland.
Hey, thanks for inviting me, Jim.
So it's a bad time to be saying hi to you. I understand. I want to let people know what happened to you. You tweeted, you got banned from Twitter.
Permanently. Suspended.
Permanently.
Yeah.
And so here's what the tweet was that got you banned. You said Secretary Blinken's to-do list, blow up Nord Stream pipeline, check, did it. Overthrow Pakistani government, check, did it. Try to rub out Imran Khan. Who is that?
He's the former Prime Minister of Pakistan, who they overthrew, and then they tried to do some. He got shot in the leg. Luckily, they didn't get him.
More money for Azov Nazis. 4, Istanbul go boom. 5, personally strangle some Palestinians to death with your bare hands. Now that's obviously a joke. So that's obviously a joke, and you got banned for all this stuff is actually accurate, except for that one, which is obviously a joke. And so you got this. This happened. Your account, Garland Nixon, has been suspended for violating Twitter rules, specifically for violating our rules against hateful conduct. You may not promote violence against, threaten, or harass other people. You weren't. On the basis of race, ethnicity, you weren't doing that. You weren't threatening anyone. You were saying this guy, you were making an exaggerated joke about what the Secretary of State, a very powerful person, does metaphorically.
Yeah.
Note that if you attempt to evade a permanent suspension by creating new accounts, we will suspend your new accounts. If you wish to appeal the suspensions, please contact our support team. So Elon Musk says, as is obvious to all but the media, there is not one permanent ban on even the most far-left account. So that's a lie. That's not true, because he just banned you.
And I'm far left. Well, and here's the thing about it, Jim. Yeah, go ahead.
So is everything in your tweet accurate then? Go ahead.
Yeah. So here's the bottom line. Certainly, it's satire. Saturday Night Live, comedians do satire. I have a lot of fun on Twitter, and I do satire. But the problem, I think, with this tweet is that I went after the establishment narrative on foreign policy, on the treatment of Palestinians, etc. And that's not allowed. So it was clearly, it has to be satire for this reason, because I don't write Tony Blinken's to-do list.
Okay, let me interrupt here. You see, with cancel culture, we have cancel culture in this country. And when 9/11 happened, there was a few years where it was a bit dicey. Any criticism, no matter how minor there was, of certain aspects of Islam, people within Islam that will commit an act of violence. You're not saying everybody within Islam would do this. You would consider an Islamophobe. On the flip side, if you go and criticize Israel, you're anti-Semite. And it goes both ways. And it's absurd to say that every act of terrorism that comes out of the Middle East by individuals of the Islamic faith is, representative of Islam. Just as it's absurd to say that all oppression against the Palestinians within the state of Israel is the fault of the Jewish community around the world. Both are absolutely ridiculous statements to make. Both are hate-filled statements, criticizing certain behavior of individuals that are motivated by religious ideology to commit violence against the West is legitimate. Same thing with Israeli behavior against Palestinians. It's legitimate. Both are legitimate. And what's happened is that the people who say, well, there are those liberal snowflakes, they're just sitting there just saying you can't say anything about Muslims. But as soon as somebody says something and hurt Israel's feelings, cancel culture. But on the flip side, Pat Buchanan, made these really off the cuff comments years ago, he never was a victim of cancel culture. Garland Nixon is a victim of cancel culture. Recently, Katie Halper is a victim of cancel culture. But for some reason, someone like Pat Buchanan gets away with it. It's just an observation in my mind I've noticed. So anyway, a lot of inconsistencies. I will let them continue.
So clearly it couldn't be an actual literal to-do list. It had to be satire. And it says hateful conduct. Here's the thing about it. Lindsey Graham literally said he called for the assassination of Vladimir Putin. The guy, Borelli is the former CEO of Venezuela's oil company. He threatened to murder Nicolas Maduro, right? Adam Kinzinger, you can find where he's threatening to beat people up. So you can find any number of tweets that actually would fit the standards that they set forward when regarding hateful conduct. Mine is just comedy and it doesn't. Why I think this particular instance is of great consequence is because Elon Musk said, this is going to be different. I'm buying it, and I'm buying this now, and it's going to be free speech. And of course, we claim we would always argue and say, yeah, well, it's free speech unless you go after the establishment narrative. I went after the establishment narrative, and in opposition to their own actual rules, they suspended me. And might I add, it said you could appeal. I tried to appeal. I wrote up my little appeal. I clicked, and it said, oops, something went wrong. I kept a screenshot of that. It said, oops, something went wrong. I then checked my email. The second I tried to appeal, I got another email that said, this is a permanent suspension. You can't appeal it. You can't do anything. You're done. So, the bottom line is, as you've heard many times, meet the old boss, the new boss, same as the old boss.
Well, here, Dan Cohen, friend of the show, he kind of caught this, that you were the victim of a NAFO, the troll army of NAFO. What does NAFO stand for? Do you know?
It's North Atlantic Fellows Association.
That's it, Fellows.
It's a U.S. intelligence agency sponsored troll farm that's started by this guy that's like a Nazi supporting guy in Poland. Oh, what a shock!
So he figured that out. So it's these NAFO troll farms that are pro-war, pro-Ukrainian war, all that stuff. And then here they are bragging about it. They show when you report a tweet, Twitter will then send you a report back. And they're posting the reports back saying, we took down that guy's stuff. And they're bragging about it. Hey, everyone, the Garland Nixon clown has been taken down. They win.
Right. And here's what, because I had some people say to me, well, you put the word strangle in, and that may have been caught an algorithm. I'm like, yeah, a week and a half ago, because it was like a week and a half ago or so. Yeah. And 7 to 10 days ago, I did this tweet, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, boom, 9 o'clock in the morning, I get an email that, okay, you're gone. So if the algorithm would have caught it, it would have caught it immediately, number one. But number two, and it wasn't the algorithm. It was these people all sending something to Twitter, which means this. It means somebody at Twitter literally looked at that tweet, read it, and said, let's suspend this guy.
Yeah.
And what?
Well, and there's another caveat to this. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes rules are applied differently to different people, because even now, making on YouTube, I have noticed there are people making conspiracy theories about elections still, and they're getting away with it. Wild Bill for America, for example, just watch his elections called Dirty Elections, and he's actually making conspiracy theories about the elections, and his videos are still up. And I don't understand that, because my videos were taken down for a week, and I never made any claims about the elections being what YouTube claimed that I said about the elections. I got to choose my words carefully, or YouTube will hold it against me. and punish me for what I have to say. I have to self-censor myself right now, because if I go and tell you exactly what I said this past summer, what caused my channel to be suspended, I could get suspended again. So that's a conundrum that's kind of fucked up right there. But the point is that rules are applied differently to different people. Apparently Garland Nixon is not allowed to have a sense of humor on Twitter, but Senator Lindsey Graham is allowed to advocate violence against, political figures in other states. And, Lindsey Graham is I'm going to say it again, and I'll say it again, it's the truth. You have a scenario here of a free speech advocate like Garland Nixon being punished by Twitter versus a neoconservative war criminal goon like Lindsey Graham allowing to say his shit. Now, I'm for the free speech of Lindsey Graham, but he should do it behind a jail cell. Just saying.
What reason would they have for suspending something that's obviously satire?
They let people advocate for war on Twitter all the time. They let people advocate for assassinations on Twitter. They let people advocate for nuclear war. How about we change just a couple of words on this and tell me what you think. Add Vladimir Putin to-do list. And let's go to the bottom. Yeah.
Personally strangle some Ukrainians to death with his bare hands. Do you think that gets thrown off?
No, that does not get thrown off.
It gets boosted.
That's right.
Every blue check mark, yay! But because it's Blinken, because it's Palestinians, so the third rails under Elon Musk are the exact same third rails under whoever they were before.
So here's what. By the way, this account is now suspended. Did you know that? This plant at Plant Wisconsin.
Why?
I don't know why. We just went to try to find it, and it's suspended. So Fiorella Isabel says, so Garland Nixon got suspended because he pissed off Anthony Blinken in the State Department with the truth? So much for free speech, Elon. Exactly. Outrageous. Elon Musk is bringing back establishment figures like Kathy Griffin, Jordan Peterson, and Babylon Bee, and just suspended Garland Nixon, a black reporter making real criticism of U.S. foreign policy. Musk appears to be retrenching Twitter's establishment orientation. Yes, that's exactly.
It's not a free-for-all hellscape, Jimmy.
It's the Dan Cohen says, while Garland Nixon is censored for joking about Anthony Blinken acts of violence, neocon congressman and NAFO troll Adam Kinzinger threatens actual violence, almost like new boss Elon Musk's censorship regime is just like the woke crowd he took over from. So here's Adam Kinzinger, and he says, literal evil. If I met you in person, it would not end well for you. Sicko. Trolls who have never done a thing in their life pretend to be. So he's threatening someone.
Oh, that's not at Garland.
No, that's Adam Kinzinger.
I thought he was talking about the Nazis in Ukraine. Like, jeez.
As I said, it's amazing how hypocritical the media is in this country, and social media especially. It's really it's really irritating. And they just flat out just flaunt it. They just flaunt how abusive they are, and it shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. It shouldn't be allowed. I mean, it should just. I mean, really, how in the world people could just sit there and allow social media to do this to people? I mean, to shut people up the way they have. So anyway, I'll let them continue. Hold on a second. Here we go. All right. Let me do this.
Oh, that's not at Garland.
No, that's Adam Kinzinger.
I thought he was talking about the Nazis in Ukraine. Like, jeez.
So Caitlin Johnstone says if he doesn't get unbanned, at least Garland went out with a real banger of a last tweet. Talk about leaving it all in the ring.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad this happened in a way because, there have been people who have, all these people are celebrating. Yay. He let Trump back on. And here's the thing about letting Trump back on Twitter. It's a good business move. If I own Twitter, I would. If Trump starts tweeting on Twitter, CNN and MSNBC will lose their minds. They'll play it 24 hours a day. Everyone will, and everybody will go on Twitter and follow him by the millions per minute. So it was a good move economically to bring Twitter back. To bring Trump back to Twitter. And, Kathy Griffin, oh, really? She's going to push back against the military-industrial complex? Bring her back.
Remember when we did the thing about him not letting Alex Jones? I was like, I doubt this is his personal story of his loss of his son. This is, I got to give some to them, and the things I can do that with are Alex Jones, anybody that goes against the war machine I work with, and Kathy Griffin. We'll return the Kathy Griffin from.
Although I must update you, Jimmy.
What?
There has been an update. That I don't know if you maybe haven't heard about it. There is an update. So what happened was, in a big update, everybody's going to want to hear this. Well, I got calls from various, because I do a lot of stuff all over the world, Galloway and RT, and people were sending me links to documents in languages that I didn't even understand or recognize, about this. People, because I do a lot of international stuff. We're all over the world. They're complaining. Everybody's complaining to Musk, right? This is going on for 24 straight hours. And I look at one, and I don't know if you've seen this tweet. So I look at 146, and this is what Musk tweets. Should Twitter offer a general amnesty to suspended accounts, provided that they have not broken the law or engaged in egregious spam? That is still up. The last I saw it was 77% yes. So if it happens that he gets a lot of pressure and he opens it back up, great. But one thing's for sure. This was exactly what everybody claimed that was the problem. This is exactly what Elon Musk said he was going to change when he bought Twitter, and he has done the opposite. It is obvious. It's a wonderful thing that happened because everybody needs this kind of transparency.
You turned out to be a real Jon Stewart of capitulation.
Well, listen, Garland, we wish you the best and look forward to. I have a feeling you're going to be back on Twitter. I just have that feeling. So,
well, more than likely, I have heard from pretty good insiders. They actually have this software that is connected to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of them, so that they all can look at that and they'll just say, okay, we got rid of this guy, and it goes from one to the other, and they all can see it. And so, in other words, I wouldn't be shocked if rather than being back on Twitter, I'm off of YouTube and Instagram and the rest. That's probably more likely.
That's very possible, right? Because that's what Jen Psaki said. Hey, if someone gets kicked off one platform, they should be kicked off all platforms. It's like, holy cow.
Well, maybe if I start a Twitter account that's like the Tony Blinken fan club or something like that, they'll let me back on.
Yeah. Garland Nixon, the host of News Views with Garland Nixon. Everybody check it out. Thanks for coming on, pal. Good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you November 20th.
Okay. Righty. Getting back to that, as I said, it's just outrageous. And they're just so they're just so in your face about it. And here's the big question, and I've asked this many times in the last few days. Where is Ben Shapiro, the guy who claims that he's a free speech absolutist, or Charlie Kirk? Where's Dave Rubin? Where's Steven Crowder? Where's Dinesh D'Souza? All these motherfuckers who claim that they're free speech absolutists. Where are they? They're nowhere to be seen, because the only free speech they care about is the free speech of their fellow right wingers. Strangely enough, I kind of think that Alex Jones, as bad as he is in a lot of cases, I have a feeling he might be the positive exception. He probably would support Garland Nixon's dilemma here. But Candace Owens and all those other folks, no, they don't care about the free speech of the left. They don't. And if these people did care about free speech, you know, they would show it by being there where it counts. You know, like for example, they would, you know, they would follow and done what Garland Nixon did a few months ago, and that was to speak at the Hands Off of Assange event in Washington D.C. I happened to see him live out there. You know, when he was, you know, I happened to see him speak. So, you know, I mean, and it's not, he's not the only figure on the left that they've done this to. They have done this to other folks. I remember about, I think it's about 2 years ago. Yeah, it was about this time 2 years ago. Combo Couch had their channel shut down. And speaking of in the video, speaking of, he mentioned Jimmy Dore mentioned Fiorella Isabel and what she said about Elon Musk in regard to freedom of speech, and of course he's correct about that, and she would be correct about that too. That what happened was that they shut down the Combo Couch a few times. I mean, they've been having trouble. So has Hardlands Media. They have had their channel shut down. They have a backup channel just in case when that shit happens. And maybe that's the thing that needs to be done. Maybe all the content makers out there, whether they're on Twitter, they're on YouTube, or, you know, what have you, they need to have a backup channel just in case this sort of shit happens, so they can kind of keep doing their work and not have to worry too much when their free speech are under attack. So just a thought right now. So we got work to do when it comes to preserving that First Amendment. So over here on the chat line, we have Warren dropped on by, says, "Good afternoon, Willie. I'm on lunch, so I can watch a bit. Hope you're enjoying your lunch. I just had lunch just now myself before I did the video here." And looks like he is it right now for the chat line. So anyway, if you all like what you heard, press like and comment. Comment any way you disagree with what I have to say. We will have a conversation. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. And remember to always reject corporate media, because they have absolutely nothing at all to offer. Always get a second opinion. Get 33 opinions if it's necessary. So until next time, I will conclude and say to you all, music.